What is going on, guys? I am the Toxic Penguin, and we're doing a bit of a discussion video. It's the first Dead by Daylight video I've released in a while. I've barely been streaming this game, and there's reasons for that. But speaking of streaming, I haven't posted it publicly yet as of uploading this video. But I'm going to be doing a trial YouTube stream this week, and we're going to be playing Dead by Daylight for that. So yeah, if you want to see that, that'll be up in a few days. If you're watching that after that stream, then ignore the last few seconds. But yeah, I want to do a little discussion video just talking about the state of the game right now. And really, it's the main reason why I'm not playing among a lot of other issues with this game. But yeah, let's get on into all the bullshit that's going on. So the first reason, and probably the biggest one at the moment, and a lot of the issues I have with this game stem from it, is the new MMR, skill-based matchmaking, whatever you want to call it, that they've implemented. Now, I understand the old matchmaking system had so many flaws. I'm not preaching that was a good system, but I think, at least from my own experiences, I know there's people that thoroughly enjoy the new system, which good for them. But my own personal experiences, the system sucks. I don't know if part of it is just an OCE issue because Australia and New Zealand makes up such a minority compared to, say, like your North American servers and your EU servers. But all my experiences of MMR have been in terms of the actual matchmaking. When I play Survivor, I'm getting the same killers I usually would, but the survivors I'm getting should not be anywhere near where I am. Like, I don't know about this game, but I recorded about 6 games or so trying to get some background footage for the video. This was the only usable one, and I want to say, with the exception of the games where they were all console survivors, so I don't know their hours, there was pretty much at least one person with less than 100 hours in every lobby, and one of the lobbies I was in, my 3 teammates had a combined total of about 60 hours. For context, I have over 5,000, and a lot of the killers we were getting, not exactly 5,000, but they definitely had 1,000 or 2,000 for the most part, which is just absurd. You should not be getting that kind. Like, how is their MMR the same as mine and the killers? And then when I play killer, the survivors I get in each game, regardless of the killers I've played, are the same ones I'd usually get when playing normally. But instead of it being like a 30-second queue time, it's like in excess of, like, if it's 5 minutes, that's a good queue. That is a quick queue. Most of them would be lucky to be under 10. In some cases, I've been waiting 15 plus to play a game that goes for thereabouts 10 minutes. So, given I'm a killer main, I'm spending more time in a queue than actually playing the game. Survivor queues, for the most part, have been relatively quick, which, as far as I'm aware, data miners have figured out that there's a lot more high-ranked killers than survivors, and the survivors are a lot low-level than killers. So survivors tend to get pretty quick lobbies, killers take forever, which, as a killer main, is terrible. As a survivor main, is not too bad. But then the way I see it, the only quality of life changes it's made in the matchmaking regard is it's made my queues longer, and I'm getting the same killers, I'm getting the same survivors when I play killer, but it's just my teammates have gone down. So there's been no quote-unquote improvements. All that's happened is that the queue times are longer, and my teammates when solo queuing are pretty ordinary. And I don't think it's that healthy at the moment, to the point, like, I've streamed DBD once or twice in the last 3 weeks, which, as someone who made their channel predominantly around Dead by Daylight, that is not a lot of streams. And part of the reason is that I enjoy playing killer. Killer is pretty hard to play on stream with the amount of queue time you have. Like, no one wants to sit there and just see the searching for a game screen with whatever killer on the screen for 15 minutes. And there's only so much you can do as a streamer to keep engagement during that time. And I'll be honest, I think there was one stream I've done of killer since MMR came out. I played about 4 games and pretty much all of them were Survive with Friends. And they were just sweaty games. And that's another big issue with MMR, is that unless you're playing really low, where it's still pretty casual, as soon as you get any sort of wins on the board and your MMR increases, you just get the sweatiest games. Like, the majority of killers run the same pool of six or so perks, which is usually Ruin Undying, Pop, Barbecue, Corrupt, Tinkerer. The majority of killers will be running 4 of those 6. I'm pretty sure in all the games I played tonight, there was maybe like 1 or 2 killers that ran any perks outside of those 6. Which I know that's the meta, but that's all you're getting. Game after game after game after game. And that's not healthy. And then the majority of survivors are running the same perks, like your Adrenaline, your Dead Hard, your Borrowed Time, your Decisive, your Unbreakable. And, like, sure, I'm running Iron Will and Adrenaline at the moment, which are very, very top of the range meta perks. Kindred and Alert are still meta perks, but they're not what you would typically define as your main meta perks. But the majority of survivors are all running the same stuff. The majority of killers are running the same stuff, and you're seeing a lot more like Nurses, Spirits, and Blights because they're at high MMR. They're the only killers that can really keep up. Survivors seem to have much more of a habit bringing in stuff like insta-heals, keys, brand new parts. And killers seem to be bringing in a lot more sweatier items. Like, I've already versed a fair few spirits that are running Mother-Daughter Ring, which anyone that plays any Survivor knows just how much that is, like how fun that is to verse. And the game's just not in a healthy state in that regard, because everyone wants to just sweat their ass off to get some sort of good result from the game. And the DBD at its core is a casual game. There's no denying that. At its core, it is a casual game, but people are trying to play it more and more competitively because a lot of people like to win, which I'm the same. I hate losing. But I don't want to play like this is a tournament every single time I open this game. And there are tournaments going around, which good on them. Like, good on people that go in them, because when people sweat in those, well, in that case, you're not playing for fun, you're playing to win. So that's completely fine, but it's when I play the game to... I don't want to have bad games, like I don't want to lose every game, but I still want to have fun doing so. And when every game is turning into an absolute competitive shit show, it's just not fun to play, it's not fun to watch, and the community is so toxic right now. Like, I don't know how long this video will go for. Hopefully I won't need any other footages of games from the games I recorded, because I'll let you know the others aren't great. But the survivors in this game got super upset about how I played. And even the killer was having a go at me purely because of how the end of the game played out. They were upset with me for how I played that affected their success. And honestly, I don't think I did much wrong. I had my reasons for doing what I did, but I shouldn't be defending myself for not playing how others do. And a lot of the issues is that when someone plays badly, it's never their fault. Like, I am happy enough to admit when I play badly. Like, I make a mistake in a loop. Okay, I should have done this there. That was on me. I should have done better there. But so many people find it so easy to just go, oh, I died. Well, it's the killer's fault because they decided to tunnel me whenever my teammates got hooked. Or a lot of the times, killers love to jump to the conclusion they were a Swift, when half the time you can check their profiles and they're not even friends with one another. They're all solo queue. It's just, it's easier to blame others than yourself. And I do that at times, don't get me wrong. But then when you get scenarios where, say, you're playing a killer you're not as experienced with, and you go and get a group that are running a couple of brand new parts, a syringe and a key, and sending it to somewhere like Haddonfield or whatever, that's just not fun. Because you know from the get-go, okay, these guys are going to sweat it out, and it's not going to be a fun game. And likewise, you get killers that are bringing in black wards because you got mother-daughter ring or whatever other broken shit killers like to run at the moment. I don't know. I haven't played this game much. And I've played the game 3 times in the last 3 or 4 weeks. And I've been so much happier for it. Because the game's just in a woeful spot right now. And I think MMR has been an issue. Like I said earlier, the old matchmaking system was terrible. Absolutely terrible. But I'd almost rather no matchmaking system than a competitive one. Because at the end of the day, Dead by Daylight is a casual game. So why are the developers trying to add competitive elements to it? Like, I understand it is a game 2 sides opposing one another, but that's a lot of games. You've got one team and another team, but there's a difference between still keeping it casual and making it a very competitive sweatfest, which is the way the game's going, and it's just not fun at all. I can see that this has gone for way too long than what I anticipated it to be, so I'm probably going to wrap up the discussion here. I honestly don't mind doing these discussion videos about various things, and there are other topics I do want to bring up at some stage, but yeah, if you enjoyed this, feel free to let me know in the comments anything you'd like me to discuss, your own opinions on MMR and the way the state of the game is now. Because even though MMR is a huge issue, it is not the biggest issue going around. And like I said, I'll be doing a stream on YouTube later this week on Dead by Daylight. And I know a lot of you have missed the Dead by Daylight content, so it will be making a return. I do love this game, so it is really sad for me to see the state it is in right now. Over on Twitch at the moment, I'm mainly streaming Witcher 3. Loving that series, so if you want to go see some of that live, that'll also be there. I do a lot of other variety of games as well, so definitely check out the Twitch if you haven't already. And yeah, just let me know what your thoughts on Dead by Daylight and how it's going is at the moment. And yeah, until next time, peace out.